interesting, right, Henry?
Let's
Hen-
Of
see what the
course.
world
Well,
greatest
Marta
know
hasn't
about
been here
tech.
before. This is Marta's first time, so she doesn't have
I
the
know.
camera set up like I do.
we're gonna figure it out, Marta. We're gonna figure it out. Why don't you try to
Okay.
log off and log
Okay.
back in, and we'll say hi
I'll
to everybody. So,
I'll be back.
welcome everybody to What Were You Thinking? This is Henry. This is Henry Wynne, one of the great distance runners. Henry, is your specialty 1500 or mile,
I
or is
would
it
say,
both?
it's both. If you can do one, you can do the other. But being an American, running a fast mile is always very cool.
Yeah, I want to know the right way to introduce you. So,
I would say 1500-meter runner. That's
all
why I try
right.
to go for the world champs and all that.
So one of the USA's great 1500-meter runners, repping Brooks, and we have big news though for today. This is our 40th episode.
Oh wow, let's go! That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty
I've been on
good,
a few
right?
of them, so I'm glad I get to be on number 40.
I know, right? Is this your third or is this
I
your
think it's
second?
my third
I
time. We
think it's
did
your
the video
third.
in New York, so
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
a recurring guest at this point.
The funny thing is, I rewatched that. Let's try to bring Marta back in and see what happens here. I rewatched that video and I'm like, wow, that was a really good episode of
Yeah,
Inside the Oval. I don't
we had a
know if
good, we
I
had
don't
a
know if you
great
had a
time
chance
with
to
that
go back and look at it, but it was really
Oh,
great. It was really
talk.
fun.
Oh, there she is.
There she is.
are you guys? Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
Are
Okay,
you at
perfect.
home?
Hi guys. Not my temporary home. I'm in Albuquerque.
Ah, the Albuquerque. Okay. So
Me
I
and
want
Henry, we're both in our temporary homes.
that's
Yeah.
right. All right. I wanted to see the houseboat. That's what I really wanted to see.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not in the houseboat right now.
So before we get started, let's do like a little. Let's go around here. You guys introduce yourselves. We love to do kind of like 60 seconds or less. Try to I'm gonna do the stopwatch. Do an introduction of yourself. Well, Henry, why don't you do the stopwatch for Marta? And Marta, you
Okay, let's
introduce
see.
yourself in 60 seconds or less.
All right,
Oh, okay.
go.
So, hi, I'm Marta Pen Freitas. I'm a Portuguese 1500-meter runner. I am a two-time Olympian, and I'm currently in Albuquerque, preparing for my outdoor season with Henry, which is my teammate, because we're both part of the Brooks Beats. We run for Brooks, and yeah, I'm actually kind of nervous. I mean, a minute, it's kind of a short time to talk a lot. I'm known for talking a lot. I think like my last episode with you guys were about that. Fun facts, I'm obsessed with my cat. I'm a cat person and I live in a houseboat, like Bob was saying. And yeah, and I run for fun. That's what I do.
How'd you do? What
Is
was
this
the time?
That was only 45 seconds. I was expecting close to a minute.
All right,
I thought we were gonna have to cut
I know.
off.
I was a little nervous too. Made it.
you did it.
Okay, your
Yeah.
turn, Henry.
All right, you
Let
got
me
the
get my
stopwatch.
stopwatch.
Yeah.
I could
Wait
stopwatch
for it.
myself. Are you ready? Whenever.
Okay,
All right.
go.
Well, I'm Henry Wynne, 1500-meter runner. Like Marta said, part of the Brooks Beast Track Club, based in Seattle. Right now, we're in Albuquerque, New Mexico. From Connecticut, went to University of Virginia. Now I've been a pro for 5 years, so I'm getting old. It's crazy, but enjoying it. Got fifth at the Olympic trials last year. Run 3:51 the mile. Fun facts. My roommates were talking trash about playing Settlers of Catan, and I won my first game today, so I'm pretty smart in that
Wow.
regard. Love golfing, love fishing, pretty much anything that's a lazy sport that's not track. I like to be active on the track and lazy in life.
All right.
So you just trashed all.
What's his time?
That was 49
Oh,
seconds. I had it going over here.
yeah.
Is
You
it
did well, Henry.
is it verified, Marta?
It is verified. I start a little later, but yeah, it is verified.
Were you gonna say I was trashing golfers and fishermen for being lazy?
Yes.
Yeah, if they want to come after me, I'll defend my stance on that one.
Hey, I'm gonna say at least golfers are walking.
Yeah, well, you know, fishing can get tough on the forearms and you're standing up, but you know, I
It
would
could,
say
yeah.
track's probably a little tougher. You know, I would always see the golfers at UVA practicing, and I'm like, I wish I could go to the driving range for practice. That'd be nice.
Marta, do you golf as well or no?
No, I'm like I think I'm very athletic. Like I played other sports growing up. But everything that is extension of my arms, I'm terrible. So like golfing, baseball, tennis, yeah, terrible.
That's a funny concept though. Anything that's an extension of your arms.
You can't figure it out.
I can figure it out. I always feel like it's something wrong with like the bat, or it's something wrong with the racket, and it's something wrong with me. It's
No,
usually the equipment is always okay.
I think every great athlete blames something else.
It's gotta
Not
be.
Yeah,
It's
it
the shoes, it's the bat, it's whatever. You know, can't be you.
there's this thing. I feel like we all very competitive. Like everything we do, even if we're terrible at it, even if we don't care about it. If somebody just like if we're just playing a random game like Catan, like Henry, I thought it was really interesting because you had to brag about your Catan win. It's just like the last win. You know what I mean? Like
Crushed them.
we
I
always
crushed them.
competing. Everything is a competition. You always have to be on your toes. Especially when you're on this team. Like sometimes we're just doing like this lazy exercises and you look around there, of course there's somebody like flexing or like doing it quicker or doing it better, and everybody gets really competitive.
We
It's
do
kind of
dumb
funny.
stuff all the time. We like, I feel like Josh is he's a big like competitive guy, obviously being an Olympic medalist. But me and him will like be throwing a stone at a signpost and be like, I bet I can hit that better, like faster than you. And like we'll spend 20 minutes doing some stupid thing like that just to prove one person's better at it.
That's just in your
That's
DNA.
accurate.
Yeah.
I guess it wastes a lot of time though when you can come up with a game to do anything. Everything's competitive.
Hey, so I'm going to do a little breaking news on you guys.
Let's hear it.
Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Oh,
Now, it's going to be
oh.
really fun. So, the world's greatest is actually going to embed with the Brooks Beast, and
It's official.
we're doing a 4-part series on you guys. That'll be on
Woo-hoo!
Roku and our YouTube channel as well. We got the thumbs up from the Brooks team and from Danny. So yeah, we're just looking at scheduling now, and hey, you're gonna see a lot of us between now and World Championships, basically.
Hey, we love that.
Oh, that's
That's
fun.
awesome. I love
Yeah.
these like series. You get to know people a little bit better, so it'd be fun for people to get an inside look.
It's going to be awesome. So if anyone out there, and obviously including you guys, have seen our series, I'm running out of power, so I got to like make sure I'm powered up here. If anyone have seen the Boogie Down, which we embedded last year into Boogie Johnson's crew, so Dalila Muhammad and Gianna Woodruff and that whole team, we embedded with them, and it was a 4-part series. It was super fun. For us, it was our kind of stickiest series. So people who watched the first episode watched kind of all the way through to the 4th. But I think it's going to be a blast with you guys. It's going to be this is our first time with kind of mid-distance, longer distance athletes, so it'll be super fun and really exciting, and a lot of interesting people as we've gotten to know you guys a little bit.
Of course.
We like to think so.
Are you guys coming to Albuquerque?
Well, we're working on that schedule now, but I was working on it with Danny earlier, just I guess yesterday or day before, and yeah, so probably Albuquerque. Probably, I mean, looks like you guys are going to be in Albuquerque, Seattle, Portland, LA, obviously Eugene. Yeah, so we're figuring out our schedule now and gonna try to be as many places as we can with you guys. So this is gonna be a blast. Awesome. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much fun.
Anything to like get an inside look, I always think that's so cool.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, even now. So are you guys? You're both in Albuquerque right now.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. Do you guys live in the same house, or are you in different places right now?
No, we have separate.
We're in different places.
Mm-hmm. So are all the athletes separate, or some of you guys together? How does that work?
We have roommates. So I'm with Isaiah Harris, Waleed Solomon, and Dave Ribich, and then Marta has got her roommates. I think we have 4 houses here, so we're all kind of split up,
Or 5, I think.
something like
So
that.
like even
Because one of our teammates just had a baby, so he has his own house, his
Oh
own
yeah, he got his
place.
own house. You have to get
uh,
you have to have a baby to get your own house on the team. So
Yeah,
Frankie doesn't count.
that's how you get an upgrade. I don't know. I'm still
he tried to play
discussing
that
that,
card.
but I try to play that card.
You could wrap up Frankie. Come on.
So Frankie was in the track meet last weekend, and it was really funny. I mean, funny for us, not for him. He was not like really enjoying the track meet, but he was there. It was fun.
He was.
I know. If anyone did not see that on Instagram, it was really cute and really fun. I thought those posts were great. So this
He's a
is
track cat.
I mean, I think this is what's really interesting about your world, right? I mean, so I think a lot of people don't really understand, and maybe even some relatives of yours don't get like, what? You run for a living? How does this work? Tell us about this world of you guys as athletes, you run for a living. What do you do every day? Give us like a rundown of how it works.
It's tough to explain to your relatives or your parents that you run for a few hours a day and then nap the rest of the day. They don't see that as a real job sometimes, but there's all, you take care of the little things. And like, that's the great part about being a pro is like, now in college, you're very busy, you have schedules, you have classes. And as a pro, you just get to focus and see how good you can get.
So I actually have a funny story to tell about that. Just to give some perspective, I feel like in the US, at least the NCAA system is a really well-known system, and there is like a really advantage to like do sports while you're in college. But in Portugal, being in college and doing anything else outside of studying, it's honestly it's a pain. And most of the families don't really support people to do other things outside of studying because none of the other things really matter. So when I went to my World Junior Championships, I had like multiple offers for scholarships over here, but it's crazy. I love that Henry was saying like, oh, I'm getting old. Like, Henry, you're not getting old. We're getting better. We're like 19 with like 10 years of experience. Okay, it's just 18 with 9 years of experience. Oh my god, what am I saying? So not old, just experience. But yeah, my mom, like, whenever I told her about my scholarships, she was like, hell no, like, you're definitely, this is a scam. They're gonna sell all of your organs and I'm never gonna see you again. Like, why the hell they're offering something for track and field? Like, what? Like, this is just doesn't sound right. And honestly, it took quite a bit of work. That's why I only had 2 eligibility seasons. I moved to the US as a junior because I was in PT school in Portugal. Because just my family, I just didn't have any support, and there was just like, in my reality, most of the professional athletes, or the athletes, they just drop out of school and they just train, and they're not able like to finish college, and I just didn't want that. So it's just interesting, even like as a culture, like in Portugal, like most of the sports are not really valued. Only if you're like a soccer player, it's like, oh yeah, you're a soccer player, yeah, of course you can make a living of it. But if you're a runner, like, what the hell are you doing? Are you crazy? Like, do you win like toasters in your 5K local race? That's how and if you sell your toaster. Like, I think like people do have that perception, but there is definitely a market for track and field, and it's really hard because I feel like only like 1%, like I was talking to Brandon about it, like only 1% of the high schoolers make it to college, and only like 1% of the college athletes make it to a professional level. With running. So it's definitely not, there is a market for it, but it's not a huge market. But it's honestly a really, really fun lifestyle. I talk often with my teammates about like, this is like, especially being in this team is just really fun because we do have like a really special group of people, and we just like, I don't know, like this last weekend in LA, for example, my race it was just not a good race. It was a bad race, let's be honest. But it was such a good weekend because it's just like this team is.
Oh, she cut out
Quite a bit, and we had like a
Oh,
fun
you're back.
time. Oh my god, you guys are gone.
You cut out for a minute. Now you're back. Oh no.
Oh, okay, you guys were not gone. I was gone. Yeah, we just had a time, and like lifestyle was good. Like we train, we sleep. Like sleeping is a huge part of and resting is a huge part of our day. Check in with our athletic trainer Sarah. And then sometimes we double. And we have like a nutritionist that works with us too, Dr. Kyle, and we just also get like a lot of information from him. We follow like this nutritional plan, and yeah, it's just a really fun lifestyle. It's just cool, like, to be able to, this time of my life, just invest so much in like my athletic capabilities and see like how much can I push my body, and all of those things count, because like when we were in college, we were studying, we were doing all of those things, but like rest was really not a thing. And now we really are able to maximize a lot of our performance, just because like this is our full-time job. Like it's a lifestyle. It's honestly, it's funny because it looks like, oh, you guys just run like 2 hours a day or go to practice like 3 hours a day and you're done. And that's not true. Like our entire lifestyle is just very conditioned with track and field. And then honestly, like all the other lives we have, because we all have like friends, families. I have a kid, Frankie. It's a cat, but he counts. A husband. They just have to circle around us. It's like I was talking to Henry. It's like it's kind of frustrating too, and it's sometimes like sad, but it's a choice. Like we choose to live this lifestyle too. But yeah, we do miss out a few things, especially socially. But I feel like some people understand better than others. Some people, maybe they're just not in our life because they were not able to understand. And I feel like it's just a little bit, it's been like some of the people, they understand like track and field is an important thing because of us. I feel like most of your friends, Henry, probably know more about track and field just because they have you as a professional runner, and they have like more insights, and they know how it takes, and how hard like training is, and how hard performing is in track and field.
Would you agree with that, Henry? Like, what are your insights on that?
Yeah, I mean, I like personally, I never really knew much about track like as a professional when I was younger. I watched like everything. I watched the Olympic trials, and loved it all, and loved doing track in high school. And then it kind of did never struck me that I could make this into a career. So I went into college. I kind of had plans to do other things, and started running well, and got offers. And I was like, well, that sounds pretty awesome. Like you get to travel the world, you get to meet cool people, you get to stay in shape, you get paid to do it all. And so, yeah, I feel grateful for it. But I mean, I try to say like, we don't work a 9 to 5 job necessarily, but it's not like an easy lifestyle because you're kind of on 24/7. So you think about what you're doing all the time, where it's like, all right, should I eat this today? Like, I can't go out with my friends and do this. Like, I need to be in bed. I need to recover. I need to, you always kind of have these things in the back of your mind, but it's worth it to pursue your dreams. And, you only have a short window for it, where you can really perform to your highest potential. And we're lucky to have the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, part of what I think about, like, it really is that lifestyle, right, that you guys are living in, harnessing, like, so think about it, right, 24 hours in a day. How much of that is sleep for you guys between naps and getting your rest? Like,
Probably
10.
like 10 hours. Yeah.
all right, so 10 hours is sleep. You guys are not going out partying. That doesn't happen.
No.
You're not going out for like random long hikes unless it's part of like a off day workout kind of,
Yeah.
right?
That's
Like so
that
so
I was gonna say that's an issue in Seattle. Everybody's so outdoorsy. They're like, oh, let's go on a hike. I'm like, I run outside every day for an hour or 2 hours. I don't want to go for a hike for
Yeah, I feel like when you're in Seattle and you have a good day, and like of course, like, especially like I'm Portuguese, like I love the sun, and I just like I do feel a little like depressed when I'm in Seattle. It's just so gloomy. I got used to it, and I also learned how to enjoy the beauty of it by now. But there is this urge of having fun and being fun whenever you have a good day. So like people in Seattle drop everything they're doing, and if the sun shows up, you have to have fun. And I hate it because sometimes I don't want to be fun. I want to be boring. And I
that's
feel
so
like
funny.
so pressured. It's like, look, people, I run every day. I'm active every day. I don't want to be fun. I want to be boring. It's kind of funny because yesterday we had like an off day, and I hang out with Brandon. And I initially was like, oh, let's just go to the Sandias and like watch the sunset or just walk around. And I'm like, oh, it's so hot and I'm going to feel like so terrible with the sun. And I don't want to stand in my legs. So we just hang out with like Norma Tact together. And then we went to like a coffee place and I got like a seltzer, and it was just like so lame. But he was also saying like, oh, early today, like our life is great. Cause like, okay, we couldn't really take advantage of like this off day and do like crazy things, like go to like a water park or something like that, you know. But
Right.
I was here like reading like in the morning. I had like, you know, like an hour of reading, and that's like honestly a lot of like good things we can do with our downtime. It's just like, I don't know, like I'm a very high energy person, and I always like to, you know, be participate on my friends' lives and stuff like that. And it's just something that if I want to be, and it's something that I mean, you have to learn this. Like, if you want to be really good at one thing, you can be doing a lot of things. Like, if you want to be like really, really
Right.
good in one thing, you have to be concentrated. And this is not only physical, it's like physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. If you like have that connection, like you just have to be focused and things have to be aligned. So like I feel it's interesting when we think about competing as this huge moment, but usually if all of those things are aligned and you do all the little things, competing well is a natural thing. You don't have to push your mind really hard, you don't have to push your body really hard. You've done all the work, like in a subconscious level you're ready to hurt. Like you don't have to tell yourself I need to hurt or be scared, you're ready.
Mm.
And I think like that's the tough part with our job is like all those little things matter. Like I have like, you know, like some devices that control like my sleep, how much sleep I have, how much like is my heart rate going like, you know, to my like baseline whenever like I'm, you know, just chilling, or I'm like my heart rate high because I'm in altitude. Like we control all of those tiny little variables that we can like adjust with like small things like meditation, napping. But it is like a very interesting lifestyle. But it's what Henry was saying, like it's just not, we have like a limited time to be able to explore our athletic potential. And for me, like growing up just like Henry, I just didn't know much about running. I'm like, my dad initially thought like running wasn't even for girls. It's kind of interesting because like you have the power to educate your parents too. It's not only your parents that are
Mm.
educating you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just was hard for me to think about like not being a PT right now, or just like being a manager. Because and it's just like yeah, but I'm like you like exploring this tool that is in me. You know, like I'm not like acquiring tools and like I'm just trying to find my own potential. I think that's really special. You know, like one thing that I think is interesting is like um at least in Portugal, like people don't really like value like people pursuing their passions. People value
Really?
people
Wow.
pursuing like, you know, if you want to be an engineer, a nurse, like that's a cool thing. Like, do you want to be like you're a runner because that's your passion? That seems
Mm.
silly. And I like, of course, like it's just not about wanting. Like there's like multiple factors. Like I said, like only 1% of like the college people that go to college actually make it to like a professional to the professional level. But it's just like I just feel very fortunate to be able to like I if I had to pay for running, I would. Like I really love what I'm doing, and it's amazing that I, you know, I'm able to be supported and, you know, um, to maximize my athletic potential in this time of my life.
Henry, how this that's so cool. I mean, the how much do you think pursuing something that's your passion like drives you in running? Like is that like a major source, like is that the source of fuel for you, as you know, to wake up in the morning, to go on those long runs, to during the grind? Is it that passion that keeps you going? What is it that keeps you going every day?
Yeah, I would say it's passion. It's like competitiveness. It's wanting to see like how good I can be. And I think it all ties into itself. Like, you know, you start this off as a kid, and like, I mean, I was getting ice creams on my runs when I was like a freshman in high school. So, you know, you don't really think you're going to be doing it for 15 years and like trying to, you know, set records and run fast times and make world championships. You start off for fun, and it kind of just snowballs into like, you know, obviously Marta and everybody who's become a pro, myself, like we were good at it. That builds the passion a little bit. Then you get the competitiveness, and along the way, at some point, you just get hooked, and you're like, all right, I can keep doing this, and I want to see how good I can get. And if you see yourself improving, like it's addicting to you know, to be able to get faster, to like put in all these hours of work. Like I joke with my friends that I'm like addicted to the grind at this point. Like
Mm.
I love practicing. I love working out hard.
I was going to ask you guys that. Yeah. The
It's like yeah,
yeah.
it's a weird lifestyle because it's kind of torturous at times, but you know, I can't see myself stopping. And even like I think about when I'm going to retire at some point in my life, like I'm going to need something that's challenging me, and I think it
So
has to be physical.
But what is that, Henry? What is that addicted to the grind? What exactly is the addiction there?
I
What's
think it's like what we were saying, like just becoming like the best version of yourself, like
mm,
becoming a peak, like reaching your peak performance. And like post running, I don't know what it's going to be like, whether you pick up a hobby, I pick up a hobby like biking, or maybe like I get addicted to golfing because I want to get a little more out of shape or whatever it is. But I think whatever it is, it's like you see yourself improving. And with track it's hard, and it's a lot of sweat and blood and tears and whatnot, but it's fun at the end of the day, and it gives you like a rush. Just we've only raced once in the past few months, and it's like we've trained every single day, so you have to really enjoy the actual process.
so Marta, on that note, like, so you said it was like a bad race the other day, right? For you.
Yeah.
So where do you kind of like catalog that, and you're like, okay, that was a bad race? Like, were you working on some things and therefore the time wasn't really what you were focused on? Was it like, or was that what you're focused on, and it's like it was just a bad race, and okay, these are the things I have to do to get better? um how
Um,
how do you assess it? Yeah.
So I think it's very interesting, and I'm just going to piggyback on some things that Henry mentioned. Like I think it's interesting because if you want to be a professional level, you also have to develop and have like this really like I think it's passion that drives us to like excel yourself in multiple levels. Like and like the mental level, it's really important because I think like when you're growing up, you break PRs every day and you have like great races all the time, and whatever you put in you get back, and all of a sudden you have like this like Hmong life. You're in the mountain, you run, you sleep, you meditate, and like you give up on all of those things, and then you're just expecting the life comes to you, gives you a hug, and like, okay, there it is. There's your Olympic qualifier. There is your medal, and that just doesn't happen. Like as a professional, I think you do go through like multiple like struggles with performance because the bar is just higher, and like what it's asked, like it's a very tough job. And I think like there is some people that are really talented and really successful, and in my opinion they just don't have what it takes to be a professional runner for like a long time, because you do have to develop like multiple tools to be able to stay in the sport, enjoy the sport, and like being able to like keep performing. So about my race, so it's interesting because of course I felt pretty flat during my race, and I had like a few issues leading to my preparation. Like I got sick, and then I moved to altitude, and I had like the week prior to the race was the hardest week I ever had in this like the last 6 months, because I was
Mm.
just like sick and I just couldn't breathe, and just the altitude. And then in the race, like towards the race, my sickness was starting feeling just a lot better, but in the race I felt like very flat. And it's interesting because I'm not giving up. Like I told this to Henry, like I'm not seeing my mom growing old and my nephews growing up for nothing. Like I choose to do this path, and like
Right.
this has to work. Like I'm like my race was very mediocre, and of course like immediately after the race you feel like bad. You feel like, I don't know, like it just feels, it doesn't feel right. But one thing that I like feel like I'm like a lot better was I just it wasn't a bad race, honestly. It was a normal race because it's just like my preparation leading like my last 15 days prior to that race, they were just not ideal. If I was having a breakthrough race, it could always happen, and that's why I lined up, because I felt good and I thought like I could embrace the challenge. But it was just like there was just a few things that were not right, and I just have to accept that. That's just like, okay, I'm starting the season with 411. This is not what I want, but this is where I'm starting. And I also have to be humble and accept that, like, track and field, you don't deserve anything. You got to go and get it. You got to earn it. And it's like, even if it's like, if you don't sleep well, if you have like, there's things you can control and things you cannot control. Like, resting, your nutrition, your supplements, your training, all of those things. But then there's other things you can't control. And you have to find like this mental balance. And of course, like I was really like pissed off and mad right after the race, but I also like was good, and I found this growth because last year this race will take me like about like 2 weeks to be able to like find my peace and be able to go to
Oh wow.
sleep. And like, and honestly, Nia runs so well and she had such a breakthrough race, And like when I think about this weekend, I actually think about like this was a very special weekend for her. And like honestly, we have a lot bad, like not a lot of like medium bad races, and you only have like a few moments that you like at this point of our career that we can really excel and have this breakthrough moment. So like I also wanted to be the person that was able to celebrate, and I just didn't want to be, sorry for this terrible expression, with my hand inside of my ass just
Right.
because things didn't go my way. I don't know if this is appropriate. I shouldn't say that. Sorry, it's already
It's
out. Too
appropriate.
bad. It's it's
Yeah,
it's it's alive. Too
it's
late.
a
You
live
can cut
show.
it.
No.
But yeah, and it was like honestly, and that's kind of like like Danny was worried because last year I also never really started my season really well. Like it just, but I mean, I think like this season I've been doing such a good preparation. There was not, I mean, I really was expecting to open with like a much better time than what I did and a much better performance. But then he called me and I was actually very calm. Like I see growth from last year to this year, and I'm like really excited about the season. Like this race, it is what it is, but I'm really excited and I still feel like I can accomplish all of my goals, and I have very ambitious goals for the season. And sometimes it's just, about accepting and like be humble and like, okay, this is where I'm at on May 6th. Let's see how fast can I run on like May 18th, which is like just next week. We're racing again next week. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's important to like, Henry mentioned that because we had a meeting after the after after the meet. Then he said, Henry mentioned that sometimes we forget how hard it is to be fit, how much it takes to be fit. And I love listening to that because it's just, even if your body was in that place, it takes a lot. Like it takes a lot to push your body to the limit. And it's just, it's just a tough job. It's just a tough job. And I just think it's so valuable to have a team because it gives you perspective. I was just thinking, if I was walking alone into that meet, it would be so
Yeah.
empty, and it's just like a lot more about like my performance, and it was still about the performance and I was still upset, but there's just like this other moments that I'm able to create right now, like what Henry was saying. Like we just have like, you get to hang out with people, they're fit, they're like smart, they have other interests outside of track, and this is a good time in life. And I know like we've been doing incredible preparation, everybody's been like consistently healthy this year, and like it's just a matter of time till the results show up. We just have to be confident and trust the process, and do the little things, because that's just a natural thing. Like if you don't, like you can stop what's natural, right? So like I think that's kind of like where I'm at right now, and I'm excited to race, but I don't feel like, oh, I run so bad last race, I want to run really well now. Like I want to run really well every race. Like I don't want to
Right.
run, so it's not a revenge thing. It's a, I know I have what it takes, and I just have to put it together and earn it.
Henry, so you know, again, a lot of the conversation that we try to have is getting a peek inside your world. So right, so you guys had a kind of a team, like a little team meeting after the race. Is that normal? Is that what you guys do, Henry? Like,
That was kind of abnormal, I would say. Normally we
okay,
meet with Danny or we'll have like one-on-one conversations, but I feel like being the first race of the season, some people doing well, some people not doing well, and he just wanted to talk to us all in general and have, and we also, like Marta said, like we got to share our own thoughts. So I talked about a few aspects from the race and things like that, and I thought that was actually nice. I hope we do it more often, where instead of you just go back to your hotel room and if you're happy, you're happy, you're upset, you're upset. Like it's good to talk with the people that you care about and trust and hear their perspective as well. Because like, I mean, I didn't have an amazing race, but I was, fairly happy, fine with mine because I did a 5K instead of a 15. So I was off the leash a little bit in terms of stress. But it's like Marta said, it's very hard to get into good shape, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. And for us, like the beginning of the season, and I think Danny would admit this, and maybe you can ask him about this on the video series we're going to do. But
yeah,
he says like we kind of suck at the beginning of the season, but we're good at championships. Like, and I told him like if I don't break 4 in the beginning of the season and I can make the U.S. team, I don't care. Nobody remembers the first race, except maybe I will because I ran 4:03 in the mile, and that's like a high school time. And but then I got third at the U.S. Indoor Championship. So I think people remember that good performance at the U.S. Champs rather than like a good performance in January. And that's my goal. Like
yeah. I
we've
I
had some
think
alumni. I don't know. Oh, sorry. The last thing I was gonna say about that
no.
is
Go
like
ahead.
we had Danny coach Nick Simmons, and he's super well known for doing this, and like one of my favorite. He's probably my favorite American runner of all time. But he would start his season running like 153, which is what I ran 4 seconds slower than I ran in high school. And then he'd finish the season running 143 and getting like top 5 at the Olympics. So it's like, if that's the progression you need to do, and we're doing everything like, Danny's got it under control, and you just have to have a gradual progression, and that's how we stay healthy and how we show up to the championships ready. Like, I'm down to run slow for a little bit and then get better by the end.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I learned just observing too. Like, there's certain athletes, I think of someone like Andre DeGrasse, not obviously in your events, but
Mhm.
I've watched him race a lot, and we've shot a lot of content with him. And it's, he's a championship sprinter. Like, he knows how to bring home medals. Like, when it's
Yeah.
all on the line, he's a guy who does it. Like,
That's what that's what people are going to remember. So, I'd rather be known as a championship racer than a time trialer or somebody who could run a fast time and then not, capitalize on it.
how much of what you guys do is like kind of relaxing, and how much of what you're doing is like taking on this stress, and the stress is like good stress to kind of press you to improve? Like, what's the balance between those things?
Yeah, I would say it can be tough because, like Marta said, she wasn't happy with her race, and so that stresses you out. But like, you have to take it into perspective and know exactly like the plan is still in motion. You're in good shape, and like, it's tough when you race a few times a season and you have one bad race. Then all of a sudden you might start like spiraling or thinking, oh no, what's happening? But I've been, as I said, I've been a pro for 5 years now, so I feel like kind of a veteran. And the same thing happens every single year, and I can be, I could be guilty of it as well. But one thing goes wrong, or like one moment happens, you get hurt for a few days, and all of a sudden you start thinking the worst case scenarios, and that's when you really need to relax and know that that's not the end of the world. And then the good stress, I would say, is the one that brings your best performances out. So you need a little bit of stress to kick you in the ass and get you going sometimes. Like, that's what gets me to hard workouts and gets me through them, where I'm like, all right, I need this work to, medal at the US champs or make world teams and things like that. So the balance is the negative self-talk is the bad stress,
Mm.
and the positive, you know, motivational stress, I think is what really drives us to perform well.
That's cool. What do you think about that, Marta? What are your thoughts?
So I think I talked about it with Brennan yesterday, that it's like, would you be more motivated to like race to get like $1 million, or would you be more motivated if like you had a lion like hunt you down? And it's like, I think it's like being motivated to be successful. It's definitely like a big drive, but I think like, honestly, in my mindset, I think about things that I'm not like. I choose to do track and field. I don't want to do track and field forever, and I know all the other things I'm missing out. So like, I'm trying to be very accountable and make this plan work. Like, I do feel the responsibility to like, I'm not wasting my time. I'm investing my time. Like, and I
Mm.
will see the profit. Like, it might take some time, but I will see the profit of it. And I think I agree with the part. I think it's a very intense sport. And sometimes like the negative self-talk, I think that's honestly definitely the worst part. It's just,
Mm.
um, the mental part is just hard. And I feel like a lot of the times we grew up associating our identity to be successful, like what Henry was saying, like, track was fun because we were like really good in our town and our district, state, country, and that was all really exciting. And then to get to this global world, guess what, everybody's really talented. Everybody was, like, went through the same things, and now it's just about like working on this tiny little margins, you know what I mean, to be able to be
Yeah.
competitive. And that's just, it's tough. It's interesting because sometimes when I'm having conversations with other teammates, I have to remind them they're talented. And this is ridiculous. It's weird to say that, but like, you're just in the team that everybody is so talented that you feel normal, and it's just like, you're not normal. You're freaking talented. You're like a profession. Like, look all the things you have accomplished. Like, you wouldn't be able to be here. We wouldn't be able to have this conversation if you didn't have enough talent. And I think definitely like, I think that's the part that it's very critical as a track and field professional runner is really developing mental tools to be able to endure the lows and like be able to just like be smooth on the highs and
Mm.
keep the grind going no matter what, like to keep like you know keep testing how fast can you run, how much better can you be. And if your mind if your mind is not aligned and it's not happy, and I think there is other things that it's important, like of course like I'm 28 years old. It's important for me to have a good relationship with my, like this is outside of running, but it's important that my significant other accepts my job and he participates on my job. And this is a positive thing in our relationship. And that's just a thing, like I control half of it. I don't control the other half. Like he could have been like terrible about it. I'm just struggling to be in altitude like 5 weeks away from him. So there's definitely like other things that really contribute to people to be successful. There is the saying like it takes, a village to raise a kid, and it takes like a lot to make a medal, to make like this one moment, like this like three seconds in the track, or like 3 minutes in the track. And it's really interesting, like just being a balanced person and a happy person. And like even like we're in camp, like tomorrow after workout I told Henry I'm just gonna hang out at your house because I want to hang out with the boys. And like this is just like feeding your social part too, even though we're not gonna go crazy. We probably just gonna norm attack and like all nap in the couch, but it's a social fun moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fun. And it's like it's important to be like in a community. I feel like the community aspect, honestly, it's been like the biggest thing for me, like from like for this, like for sure for this last Olympic cycle. Like it was really important having a community aspect, like just being able to be happy for others and involved in others process, and having others involved in my process, and in the way also learning so much with them. Yeah, I talk a lot, I'm sorry.
What do you? No, this is fun. What do you guys think about when you're on the line? Right at the start of the race, you're on the line.
I can
What's
go.
going through your mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm grateful. I'm just honestly, I usually smile because I'm just grateful for the opportunity of racing. Like I actually really enjoy training. I'm not somebody like, oh, I hate practice. I only do practice for racing. But I really love the opportunity of testing my limits. And like racing is the peak of it. So I honestly smile. I smile. I kiss my wrist because it makes me think about my dad. And I feel like my dad was like very involved in my career. And, just like try like the trick of having a good race is just being present. Is like being in the starting line, thinking about being in the starting line and not thinking about the
Mm.
end result. Like being in the moment and being able to like just be courageous and make moves whenever like the pack is moving. Um yeah, so I think that's what I think. That's my mood when I'm racing.
How about you, Henry?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's a lot of nerves involved with being on the start line, but really, the worst part about track is like the day of a meet until you get to the start line. Like, you're thinking about everything, and then it's great when you step out there because you're just like, all right, I'm here. Now it's just gonna happen. Like, it's not happening in my head anymore. But I like to, I like what Marta says, and I think I did this a lot last year with embracing the moment. Like especially at the Olympic trials, like I was obviously super nervous. Like going in, I have the ability to make the team. I've got the time, I've got everything, but I didn't want to be at the trials and nervous and enjoy it at all. So I got on the start line. I kind of like looked around the stands and I was like, this is sick. Like I get to I get to race right now. There's like this place is packed, the lights are on. Like I'm with the best people in the country, and uh, you know, I got to embrace the moment a little bit. And that's something that always helps me with a little bit of my anxiety on the start line or the day before is like, once you get to the race, like the work is done. There's nothing else you can do. Like you're either going to, race well and, be present. And, that's my only option. I don't want the other option is like worry about the preparation and if you did everything right, but what's that going to do? Like you can't go back in time and you're really just the person you are on the start line. So I think about that and I say, all right. And then I make sure I don't step on the line, don't get a false start, and look ahead and get going.
Henry, actually, it was funny you were saying that the day of the race is the worst because I'm very hyper all the time. But in the day of the race, I have the superpower. I can sleep till about like 17 hours or 15 hours. I sleep so much. Like I only wake up, I only take my ass out of the bed to eat and to shake out. and I just sleep the entire day. And I love when the meets are at night because I can just like hibernate. And I'm like, I do have a hard time napping on a regular basis because I always want to do things and I'm very hyper. When I'm racing, I'm just very like, I don't know, I love it. I just like turn into this like different being. I'm just very chill, very calm, and then I get my caffeine and I bring all like, you know, like a condensed energetic Marta for like a few like hours. So that's kind of how it's my like pre-race mood. It's kind of weird. Like some of my roommates are like, "So are you like doing anything else outside of sleeping?" And I'm like, "No, that's it. I don't even watch stuff. I just sleep. It's
You just sleep.
terrible. It's not. It's and I think it's great. I mean,
We're gonna have that's gonna be another show because Shamir Little says she can sleep more than anyone, and so we're gonna have a show of who can sleep more. It's
See
gonna
about that.
it's gonna be so dull because
I actually
nothing's gonna happen.
during COVID, I did my own little sleep study on myself, where for 2 weeks I went to bed at the same time and just slept until I woke up. And I averaged 11 to 12 hours a night,
Really?
and I was sleeping until like noon every day. I don't have anything else to do. I'll see how
you
long I want to sleep.
you're growing. That's like what the
I guess I'm
babies
still
do.
growing or something, but it was like insane. I'm like, I can't live this lifestyle, but like, during COVID, there's not going to be an opportunity, hopefully, where you can spend all day sleeping and see what your body needs.
I also think like sleeping is like this powerful tool that you can just like freeze time. So like honestly, if you're stressed out, if you not like what you're doing, just go to sleep, save a few hours of your life, keep your cells like calm and you can just gain a few years of life if you do that.
That's really wise right there.
It's really wise. There's absolutely no studies on this. This is just like, but you can trust
Makes
me.
sense.
Yeah. I'm just gonna trust you on that one. So I do want to add. So Marta, do you have a question about Henry? So I want to like pose this question. We normally do a "What were you thinking?" question on the show. That's the name of the show, right?
Mhm.
But I want Marta to ask you, Henry, what were you thinking? So Marta, you got to think about that. Henry to ask Marta a "What were you thinking?" question. Does anything come to mind, or should we talk about other stuff first while you guys kind of think about that?
I think I need to think about it for a second. I don't know if Marta has anything for me.
I uh I already so it's actually I hang out
Oh,
quite a
she's
bit
got
with
one already.
Henry. Yeah, I know. And I know all the questions I had to ask him. I feel like I ask him on a regular basis.
But not for
But
everyone else to hear.
okay. Let me ask this question then. So, what were you thinking, Henry, last weekend when you were racing the 5K and you were like absolutely dead? Not absolutely dead, but like you looked like you're gonna step out of the track at any moment. But then you sprinted, like the last lap was actually really strong. What were you thinking?
I'd like to preface this by saying I always look like I'm dying when I'm racing, but I think it's like a possum or something. Like I play dead and then I can kick hard.
It
But
was funny because you were like 2 laps in, and I was worried because you were so red, and I'm like, it's only 2 laps in. It hasn't been a K yet. It's
yeah,
so red.
I don't know. I get red, I get tired, but I can muster it up. But that last lap, what I was thinking is I could see Josh dying in front of me, and Josh he's always talking trash to me, and he's always reminds me he's a better 1500-meter runner and has faster times. So to see him dying in front of me and me catching him, that was a good feeling. So that whole
Yeah.
last lap, I was like, I can get this guy. And then with 100 meters, he had maybe like 20 meters on me, and he's pretty much walking it in. So I had to get him at the line, except for bragging rights. Neither of us
But
ran very fast, and I think he might have been
So
injured,
good.
but I'm still the best 5K guy right now. So
exactly.
for him,
I knew
he
the
used that as
answer for this question, and that's why I asked. And it was hilarious
So
because
good.
Henry sprinted. He put his blocks down 100 meters to go, and he looked incredible the last 200 meters. And he ended up the race. And I actually like a 5K. It's always hard. And he was like, I would do it again. And I'm like, it's a good day, Henry.
I just think I might not have gauged my energy levels right. I haven't done a 5K in a few years, and so I'm like a rookie 5K guy. Might be good at the 15, but I still have some learning to do in the 5K.
You went out a little hard, is what you're saying.
I know. I think I went out and then I went a little slow, and then I had too much energy left. I need to talk to some of my friends who are better at the 5K and see how they gauge that effort.
Garrett always used to say that if you race a 5K and you don't think about quitting at some point, you're not running fast enough. Because all the 5Ks he's done is like, I always had a brief moment in my head that I'm like, I have to quit. I can't go. I can't go. I can't go any faster. I can go, actually.
Here's a good question. You did a 5K last year, right?
No, it was not last year. It was like my
Or 2
first
years
year.
ago?
No, it was
What?
like three was my first race as a beast.
She's gonna put me on the spot for looking like I'm dying. So I'm gonna ask her, what were you thinking during that 5K?
I want to quit life. It wasn't like I want to quit the race. I want to quit life. Like I want a hole. I want to hide in the hole. And, that was what I was thinking. It was honestly, that was probably the worst race of my life. I got lapped. That's like very, and it was like a 400-meter track. It was an indoor 5K, even though that would be embarrassing either way. So it was like first 5K. So I was like coming out of injury, new group, really wanted to create like this great impression that I'm this great athlete. And yeah, it was just tough, very tough. Like, honestly, that race took me about a year to recover from mentally.
I think every 1,500-meter runner's greatest fear is they accidentally run fast in the 5K. So I think Marta might have sandbagged it so she could stay as a mile or 15 runner.
Well,
Yes, that's what I was thinking, Henry. You know me so well.
That's so funny. Well, Henry,
She got lapped, and Danny's like, "You're staying in the 15. You don't worry about it."
Yeah.
You were saying that right in the Inside the Oval show, right, Henry? Where it's like Danny's like going, "Well, you could be a good marathoner or something."
He said some crazy stuff like that, and I'm like, "I'll show you a marathon if you want me. I'll run like 5 hours just so he realizes that I don't want to do it."
Exactly. It's so on that topic though. How important is a coach? So Danny Mackey is your coach, right? He coaches the whole team, right? So
Yeah.
he's juggling. We have this one visual that we use to kind of pitch the Brooks marketing team on this concept, and the visual was Danny with like 7 stopwatches around his neck, which I thought was just hilarious,
That's
And
funny.
so,
That is
but
kind of what he's like at practice.
how important is that? How important is a coach for you guys?
I think for me, it's like it's interesting because I feel like the better you are as a coach, and I think Danny's a great coach, the more hands off you can be. Like he's there for when you need it, but he's not gonna be overbearing or if you don't need to talk to him, he's not calling you, he's not blowing up your phone, he's not being like extra motivational. I think he would be proud to know that like his job is getting you to feel prepared enough where you don't need to give him a call before a race. You're like, I'm ready. I know what to do. Like we've done this a million times, and he writes obviously he's the scientist behind it, and he writes all of our workouts, and he has this grand plan. So if you ever do need to talk to him, one of my favorite things with him is like he has a specific reason, he has a specific scientific reason why you're doing that exact workout on that exact day, whether it be to push your lactic threshold, to recover a little bit, to do this or that. But I think what's great with Danny is like he never sugarcoats anything. Like he's not one of these coaches that is going to lie to you to make you feel better. Like at a race, he'll tell you exactly what he thinks you can run. And I like that more than somebody being like, oh, you can break the world record today when you don't feel like you can. Like you know how you're feeling, and you know when somebody's BSing you. So I like that Danny is very straightforward with that. And with me personally, he can be very honest. Like during some practices, I'll have a bad day and I'll be like, Danny, what's up? And he's like, sometimes you just suck. I'm like, that's all I need to know. Like he's like, it's gonna be fine. Like some days you just suck and I don't really understand it necessarily, but like you'll bounce back and have a great workout next time. And I'm like, okay, I mean, you know me. And then it always happens where I'll bounce back and have a great one and forget about the day that sucked and go along with life.
It's actually funny you're
That's an
saying
exact
that.
quote.
Yes, he also said this thing like Danny doesn't give a lot of motivational speeches, but we meet quite a few times, and we talk like as a team, and he talks about like a few topics to focus on. So in the beginning of the outdoor season, or the preparation for the outdoor season, he was like, so let's just use Henry as example, that he started like running like absolute like shit. He was a high schooler and he finished third at the USA in front of the whole team, which was hilarious because and I loved it because it's like, he probably used like a few other things, and he pointed out a few other like important things and aspects about our season and about what's coming. But I don't know, I feel like he has a really cool relationship with Henry for sure. Henry, in your defense, like sometimes you die in workouts in the middle of the workout and you come back to. Henry has this superpower, you know what I mean? You never know. Like sometimes this man looks he's gone and he's not gone. Like he's still coming back. Like that 5K. I thought like, oh, he's
That's
done
my
after like
secret there.
800
Don't go
meters.
telling everybody.
And he was a bullet. It was a bullet, 200 meters to go. He put like literally, I feel like he got off the blocks for that 5K. The last 200 meters was incredible. I loved it. I honestly laughed really hard. It was amazing. And I was actually really happy. Like, good job, Henry. Crushed it.
That's so cool. So what are the places, by the way, to visit in Albuquerque for food? What are you guys eating there that's kind of interesting?
So I cook a lot.
Oh,
I actually like to make my own meals. Yeah.
We're gonna stay in your house then.
Yeah,
Chipotle.
I like it's local. Chipotle, I don't know if you heard about it. It's like a New Mexico special. Very, very local. Local, organic,
Yeah.
all the things.
Shout out our favorite restaurant in Albuquerque is Mas Tapas. That's where we go all the time. Our coach Julian knows the owner, and so he hooks us up, and he's getting us nice tables and sending over little treats every once in a while. But that place is amazing. That's the go-to for celebration in Albuquerque.
Nice. That's cool.
If you come down
Marta,
here, we'll take you out there.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to get there. I mean, we have so many good places to go to. We definitely want to be on the houseboat. It has to happen.
Okay.
The houseboat is legendary.
And you need to meet Frankie. He's like the best thing about the houseboat. And maybe you meet some of Frankie's friends because there's a ton of animals around that houseboat, like beavers and raccoons and hummingbirds. I had a hummingbird nest actually. It was really cute.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I saw like I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell the story. It's kind of sad. So I saw the whole hummingbird process. I saw the eggs. I saw the mama hummingbird. I saw like the little like hummingbirds, and then one flew away. And I wanted like to record the whole process, so every day I would go there and film them. And so like, whenever they fly away from the nest, they don't come back. So I was like very carefully just put my phone up and I filmed it, and I feel like he was like ready to fly, but he was trying to build confidence. But because I got closer, he got scared and he flew and he hit like one canoe and he landed on the water. And I'm like, no! But we saved him.
Oh,
So
you did. Thank God.
yeah, no, I didn't do it. I yelled, and my
I think
husband
G
like,
saved
okay,
him, and you were
yeah.
just freaking out.
And he put it back on the nest, and he's fine. He will have a happy life. So, but he didn't like the media part. And yeah, I also never posted because I felt really bad. I was like, oh my God, why I did this? This is so stupid. Let the animals be.
That's so funny. The we're coming up on the hour, so we've gotten a good solid hour of chatting in, which is awesome. But I do want to ask you guys. So, what do you think it takes to be the greatest? What are your thoughts?
You want
on
this,
that?
Marta? You can go first.
What it takes to be the greatest? I think honestly, being in a good team, like being able to delegate responsibilities, like being with the greatest coach, with the greatest AT, with the greatest nutritionist, with the greatest teammates. If you're surrounded by the greatest, you're gonna be the greatest. It's just like, or you don't have what it takes. I think that's my take on it.
Yeah, and I
like
think
it, yeah.
I like that as well. Like surround yourself with people who push you, and I think the greatest is like you have to have the desire to be there. There's a lot of people with talent, but there's I always like to say that like one talent is being able to work hard. And so I think you need to have the drive, you need to have the motivation. Obviously you need some talent. And if you can surround yourself with great people, then it's going to bring the best out of you. And I think you can become the greatest in that scenario.
Yeah, I think that's cool. So for you guys this season, I mean, I talked about it with Danny, so I kind of know your season, but maybe you could tell everybody kind of the cadence of your season as much as you want to, and kind of working toward, I would assume, world championships, and kind of what the flow of your schedule looks like.
So we're racing in Montsac next week, and then we will have like actually, so this was just 10 days between our like last race. We raced May 6th, and we're gonna race May 18th in Montsac, and then June 11th in Portland, and then I will head to Europe in my own schedule and maybe race there one more time before my trials, or just race my trials, and then I'm coming back to the US to meet with the team after I finish my qualification for World Championships. Maybe race one more time here and race World Championships. I do have European Championships too, so after that I will go back to Europe again, maybe race one more time, do European Championships, and then we'll see if I'm done with my season mid August. That's the last championship I have this year, or if I just race for a little bit longer since I'm already in Europe till like early September, and then we have a break, and then we're gonna come back all together, I guess, like mid-October or something like that. But I think that's kind of the flow. With Henry, he will, instead of it is not going to Portugal, I guess. I think he maybe after the season is over. But you guys, you can talk about it. I don't know. Your trials, I think, are the same weekend as mine.
Yeah, same type of thing. We got the Mount Sac 15 next weekend, May 19th. Then Portland Track Fest, I think that's June 9th. And then that's 2 weeks before U.S. Championships, so U.S. Champs in Eugene. And then after that, really just, the goal is to be getting ready for Worlds. So the focus is U.S. Champs, make that team. And then from then on out, the schedule kind of falls in your lap a little bit more, especially if you make the team. So if you make it, you get to do some cool races, hopefully go to Europe, do a Diamond League, something like that, and race in Eugene, which would be awesome, having Worlds in the U.S. for the first time.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. I mean, it's like, to me, I'm looking at the date. It's May 12th, and it's almost 2 months to the day, almost to the beginning of World Championships. So
yeah, it's crazy. It comes up really quick.
It's coming up really quick, right? I mean, it's like, wow. I guess it's right here.
Yeah.
But like you guys are saying, though, right? I mean, it's compartmentalizing a little bit, right? You can't get, in order to get there, you have to take care of your business in your country championships, right? And
can't think too far ahead.
Yeah, and obviously you have the races in between to build toward that. So I'm super excited that we're gonna kind of be there with you guys. I cannot wait. We might actually be. I haven't told Danny this yet, but we might be there with you in Mount Sac. So I'm trying to make some decisions tomorrow and Saturday.
That's gonna be a fun one. Mount Sac is a sick race.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we definitely want to see you in Seattle for sure. Training there, probably in Albuquerque, probably in Portland. But we've already booked our 2 Eugene dates, so that's all set. So
did you take this background photo? I've been wanting to ask, or do you know where it is?
Wait, what? What background photo? Oh, this one for the show.
Yeah,
this is Eugene.
This is Eugene. That's literally from my iPhone at the practice track.
I was gonna say we'll see you there.
That's that little practice track. Yeah,
we've spent a lot of time getting ready on that track.
Yeah, we ended up, I think, getting 2 different houses in Eugene, but one is like in Springfield, but the other one is close to this track, awesome. Which was handy just to kind of, so we could do some shooting at the house as well as seeing you guys at the track. So, yeah,
get ready for the heat.
Yeah, it was funny. We were doing a shoot with Quinera Hayes on. I think it was after she had won, but Allison Felix was going to run in the 200, I think is what was going on. And but we were shooting with Quinera, and no one was on the track but us, Quinera, and her baby boy, who was hilarious, just like laying on the track exhausted. And only one other athlete was on the track, and she came running over and she goes, "Hi, Bob," and it was Allison Felix. She was doing her like pre-meet, like it was only like 30 minutes before the race.
You'll see some impressive people at that little track.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, what are you doing here? Aren't you racing? And she's just doing it, her little pre-meet right there. So
That's awesome.
That happened. So
That's cool.
So this will be great, you guys. I'm super excited. This has been an awesome show. I'm glad we could have you back on. For anyone who
Yeah.
hasn't watched the Marta's one-on-one episode, it's hilarious. So
Good.
you gotta watch that one. Henry, we got to do one with you when we see you. Obviously, we're gonna do one
that'd be fun.
with all of the Brooks teams. Everyone's gonna get their own one-on-one for sure. And then if anyone has not seen the Inside the Oval episode, that really is a great one. Like I've watched it like 3 times, and there's so many good nuggets in that show. There's a lot of silliness.
That went by. I still can't believe how quickly that went by.
That's true.
It went by in like a blink of an eye. It was like 48 minutes or something. Yeah.
You had to stop us.
Yeah. So, well, I appreciate you guys coming on, and we will be seeing you very soon.
Yeah, hope to see you down here soon.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm excited to see you too. Yeah, thank you for having us.
All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye. Good
Bye.
night.